Hey there, welcome back. So today we will check scope. Scope means the level of access which is provided. Now this is a little confusing. Let me show you exactly what do we mean by this. Alright, so let me add in a for loop in our main method. So I will type in for int I equals to 0, then I is less than 10, I plus plus. So this is a very usual and normal loop, and we will try to print the value of I, which is cool, right? No rocket science till now. And if we print this values on the console by executing the program, the output should be as expected from 0 to 9. Here we go. Let me expand this window a little. Here is the output. Now friends, we have this variable I. Let me print it once again, the final value of I, and let me execute the program. And it is complaining about something. We don't know why it is complaining. Let me proceed, and it says I cannot be resolved to be a variable. Now why this is the case? But initially we have created the variable, we were successfully printing it on the console, but as soon as we are trying to print the value, it is not printing it, right? And if we hover upon this, it says I cannot be resolved to be a variable, but we have initialized the variable I with 0 inside the for loop, and the answer is a scope. This particular variable has a scope restricted to this for loop only. Once the loop is finished, this variable dies. The scope is simply with this for loop. Alright, so now let's proceed further and check a couple of more interesting stuff. Now moving forward, let me do one thing. Let me get rid of this for loop, and I won't remove the pair of braces though. And inside this brace, I will type in int I equals 10 maybe. And then I will try to print the value. Now what should be the output? Again the issue, but we have initialized this variable, right? Let me comment this out. Let me print this, and here is the output. Now the scope of the variable is based on these braces. So when we were working with this for loop, this whole and sole for loop is a block of code, and when we create a specific variable for a specific block of code, that variable will be only available to that block of code. And as soon as the block of code get finished, the execution of the block of code is over, the variable would be removed from the memory. Alright, so here is one thing. Now for example, we don't initialize or we don't make use of the variable inside any method, and we directly make use of the variable outside the method, outside every method in fact, and this would be to the class level. For example, int I equals maybe 100. Now will this work? Now this seems to be working, right? And if we hover upon this, then it says change I to static. If I change the variable to static, then any method can access this easily. So let's change it to static, and as soon as I make this to static, then the issue vanished. And let me print the output, and here is the output. Let me do one more thing. In here, inside this braces, I type in int I equals 5 maybe. Now there are two int variables by the name of I. One is inside our pair of braces. The second one is outside all the methods which are available, right? So what should be the output? Let me show you. Here is the output. So firstly, this statement is getting executed, and whenever there is a priority given, the priority would be given to the local variable, not the global variable. The variable which is in the class level is always a global variable, and it would be available throughout the class. If it is a static variable, definitely. In this case, definitely we can access the global variable as well and the local variable as well. And if there is an ambiguity, the priority would be given to the local variable. So this is the reason why in here we are printing the value of I as 5. Now for example, I change the name of the variable to j maybe, because now there is no ambiguity, and system.out.println is simply printing the value which is the global value which is available in the class level. Now friends, if we create a non-static variable, even then we can access the variable. For example, let me make this as public. Then in here I can say new app.i and we can access the variable. So this would be the way we need to create an object in order to access variable I. So let me undo the changes and make this a better program. Alright, so this was a very quick and sober explanation. Let's proceed further. Now let me get rid of all of these statements and we would be adding a yet another for loop. I will say int I, then I will type in a for loop for I equals 1, I is less than 10, I plus plus. Right? So this is a very simple for loop, and inside this for loop we will print out the value of I. So very simple, right? And moving forward we will again try to print the value of I. Now this time Eclipse is not complaining. And what should be the output of the program? Let me add in a yet another separator as well. Now predict the output and what should be the value of I, which would be printed due to the statement which is there in the line number 13. And here is the answer. The output is 10. Now how it is possible that Eclipse is not complaining? Because we have declared the variable before the for loop. As a result, this variable is available throughout the main method and we are able to retain it. Moreover, once all the iterations from this for loop were finished, the value of I was 10. As a result, the value of I is 10. So this is all about today's video, scopes. This was a quick introduction to scope. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.